schools, Iowa State and Iowa, and yet when they met, the outcome was always in doubt.
Here's the feature, 190 pounds, Eddie Bannock of Iowa and Mike Mann of Iowa State. I don't think there's anybody needs to tell you but how good these two are.
Well, there's two super wrestlers out there right now.
Mann is as good as anybody who's never won a national championship.
He's been runner-up last year at this weight class, and of course Bannock was runner-up at the 177-pound weight class.
Ed Bannock, who's had a fabulous career for the Hawks. They wrestled at the Northern Open this year, and Mann won it 5-3. Now you see Bannock wants to get up there and horse. That body throw, if he can get it, if he can get it, if he can get it, but Mann is trying to maintain position. And he gets the two.
No points yet.
No, that's right.
No points yet. I thought he hit it. Not yet. No points.
Oh, nothing. Oh. And there it is for Bannock. A big move.
Big move. He caught Mann's arms up in the air and was able to come down, pressure him to the mat for the two.
Oh, this is going to be a beauty.
Here's the move right now. You know, it's underneath the arms and drops down on a double, gets a trip with it, gets a two-point takedown. Super match already. We got a minute and 48 seconds left in the first period. Mann down to the bottom. He stands up. Bannock gets the lift, puts him back to the mat.
Stepped through, beautifully stepped through there by Bannock. And he has Mike in a pretty bad position here because there's no getting out of here with escapes for a while until he can free the leg.
This Bannock's got a lot of power on top. He's tough, he's physical. Mike's tough and physical likewise. It's just going to make for a super match before this is all over.
Here is Mann on the leg. Still not two.
Oh boy, there it is. He's got it now. Woo! Look at it. Spin back underneath. Oh, what beautiful wrestling. Two good moves. Good counter move by Bannock. Good follow counter through by Mann. It's just been some super wrestling in that last 15-20 seconds. A lot of power.
3-2, Mann over Bannock. 48 seconds to go.
Here's our move here. Notice how Mike moves around behind, blocks off with a traps that arm around, comes around behind, takes that near leg, then comes around, turns it into a double, works up, he scores his two. He's got him in a wheelbarrow right now. Notice Bannock kind of somersaults back through into a counter move, but Mann was able to stay on top.
Mann is on top as they start to ride. Bannock turns in. It's still Mann's position with 30 seconds to go. Mann with a tight waist from the near arm, the arm crunch.
He's got that near ankle trap, deep waist, controlling the near arm with an arm bar.
Heck of a match. There's Harold Nichols, Les Anderson on the right. Les has a little smile. I think wrestling coaches get that when there's a good match, no matter who's in it.
Oh, this is two super athletes, both of them. There's your forward roll by Bannock, countered by Mann with a follow through. He's got the deep waist. Mann moves to the far side, sticks a half in, comes over, blocks it. Bannock stands up.
End of the period. It's 3-2. Let's go down and talk to Chuck Patton. He has Dwayne Goldman with him.
Dwayne Goldman, great match, real big win for you. Put the Hawks back in the lead.
Well, thank you very much. It really was a big win for me. I was really pleased with it.
Well, you know, he's been a national runner-up. That's great for you to get a win like that here early in the year.
Yeah, I don't know, I kind of haven't been wrestling real well lately, but I was really excited to wrestle him because he's got a real intense style, and that's why I wanted to wrestle him. I just stay on him all the time.
Well, congratulations, big win for you. Back to you, Doug.
Now back to 190 pounds. Thank you, Chuck Patton, with Dwayne Goldman, a happy young man. It's 4-2 as Mann gets out. Mann leads Bannock by 2. These two powerful 190-pounders on their feet.
There he spins around for the single against the two. No points yet.
Bannock has a whizzer.
Got the whizzer. He's staving him off.
We're close to the edge. We're very close to the edge.
2 points.
There it is. It's 6-2 for Man.
Folks, if you haven't seen wrestling and don't enjoy this one, you will never enjoy a match. This is a super match. Two super athletes. There it is. He takes that single. Now he gets the other leg. There's no point. Still scrimmaging for a takedown. Man now picks it up. Notice a whizzer attempt by Bannock to stave that off. Here we'll see the lift by Man, and he turns it into a wheelbarrow 2-point takedown.
No telling what's going to happen in this match. And I'll tell you, today at the weigh-in, I don't think I've ever seen Mike Mann so intense as he was today. I just had the look on his face of a very intense wrestler, and Ed Bannock always has that look. Now he has the body, head and arm control on the top. Here's Mann in with a lift. 8-3.
He gets a bare hug, double leg on that one, and put him right to the mat. There's a lot of wrestling left yet, folks. It's an 8-3 score, Man on top. But let me tell you, you're looking at two of the best in the country.
20 seconds to go. You see the clock up at the top. This is Mike Mann on top, Eddie Bannock. It's Mann leading by 5, and he has riding time. But anybody who knows Eddie Bannock knows this one isn't over yet.
Oh, this is the super match.
We're still in the second period. Roll by Bannock, and he did not get out. Thunderous roar here in Hilton Coliseum. Everybody's on their feet. Let's see it again.
There's your duck under combination. Got in there, real good position. Deep on it, then turned it into a double, pressured him to the mat, got the 2. Good positioning. That was the key on that move.
When you're ready.
And Man starts on top. It's the last period here. 2 minutes more to go.
And it's going to be a tough 2 minutes. You can be assured that Bannock isn't going to. He's not going to throw in the towel. He's too tough a competitor. Referee tells Man to move up from behind. He can't fit in behind.
Man is undefeated this year in 19 tries. There is the escape to take the 4. Bannock got the first takedown in the first period. Man has had 3 since.
Right now, Bannock's got that far arm trap. He's got a 2-on-1 combination.
Uh-oh. Who's going to come out of this? Man has the leg. Bannock is on the side.
2-point takedown. Stayed with it.
A takedown for Bannock. And now with a minute left, it's only a 2-point match. And now it's time to Man pulls him out.
Tie that shoestring. I don't want anybody tripping on that shoestring. Tie your shoestring right there. I don't want anybody tripping on it.
Little rest for the kids.
I'll tell
Little rest
you.
for everybody in the place.
57 seconds, man. Let's go.
This is just a super match. You couldn't ask for a greater finale. We got another one to go, another great match, but this is a good one.
Another rest.
52 seconds left. Score's 9-6, Man on top. A lot of wrestling left.
A lot to go here. Bannock gives the impression he wants to lock up and throw if he can. That's the quickest way to make it up if he can pull it off. But Man has the leg, and it's Bannock who has to counter. Nothing? Nothing? What was called?
Nothing. I don't.
Is it 11-6? Yes.
He gave it to him. I thought maybe I saw him wipe it off, but I wasn't certain. 2-point takedown, Man.
Man leads by 5 with 28 seconds to go. Crowd is strangely hushed here. There's a reversal.
Reversal by Bannock.
That's the first reversal we've had. 13 seconds to go. Bannock has to crank Man over or lose. Escape, 12-8. 3, 2, 1. Man is the winner.
The year was 1982, and Iowa State was leading Oklahoma State 11-8, entering the 167-pound match. It was the pivotal match of the meet, and Oklahoma State's eventual four-time All-American Mike Sheets met the Cyclones' 8th-ranked Tim Brown.
167 pounds. And it's only a 3-point difference now. Iowa State over Oklahoma State. And at this weight, number 4 in the country, Mike Sheets, against Tim Brown of Iowa State.
Oh, Tim almost scored the... Looked like he had that leg trapped over there with a trip, and there's a spin through by Sheets.
Tell you, Mike really came along last year for this Oklahoma State team. He was not seeded in the Nationals, but he finished 7th. And he seems to be a rapidly improving wrestler. Obviously this year, he's 16-3 with the number 4 ranking. He's only a sophomore.
We might mention here that Timmy Brown has a current number 8 ranking, but at the 158th slot. So wrestling up at 167 now. He's wrestling with the bigger boys.
Tim Brown has been a freestyler almost all of his wrestling career. And
he's a good technician, though, too, Doug. He's a good technician. He looks like he might score 2 here if he can get a trip with that. Got to maintain his balance, although right now...
looks the other way now.
The other way. It's amazing how that can change so fast. No points yet. They're still scrimmaging for the takedown. He's got that leg locked in there, but we may skip the 2.
There it is. 2 for Sheets.
Notice that Tim still has the arm in on that leg, but referee felt that the Oklahoma State wrestler, Sheets, had control, and he did. He's now working on the guillotine maneuver, taking that arm lock on the far side, hoping to get...
Tim Brown has had trouble on the bottom this year. Remember that Iowa meet?
Yes, he has.
And, so the Iowa State coaching staff is very interested in seeing, as everybody else is, of course, who's an Iowa State follower, how he does on the bottom against somebody as good as Sheets. Two to nothing.
He's going to have to free that leg. You notice Sheets got that near leg scissored, controlling the hips on Brown.
Last minute of the period, he's trying to get a tip here.
Now he's got that near arm bar, and he'd like to, with the deep weights, he'd like to bring him to the near side, get a tilt there for some back points.
Mike Sheets, you're looking right into his eyes there. It's turned out to be a close meet now because after a draw at 118, Iowa State won 3 matches. Now the Cowboys have won 2 in a row, and one of them was a big win by Kenny Mundy over Nate Carr, 13-11.
If you get a split, you'll score 1, but Sheets drops down on the single.
We're within a half minute from the end here now of this first period.
Notice Sheets right in that far ankle. He's got to work up in position. He's got to improve himself. He can't hang back there.
Tim Brown.
4 seconds left.
Sheets has had a good tough ride here in this first period. 2-0. The Cowboy leads. That's Tim Brown.
Timmy Brown, ranked 8th nationally at 158. He's got to be more explosive in that bottom position. He's got so many good moves on his feet and in the top position. If he could put something together at the bottom, it'd be tough.
Now it's 2-0, and we asked Tim Brown earlier how he felt. Are you big enough, we said, to compete at 167 after being at 158?
Well, I think it's a big transition for me, having to go up a weight class, but it's something that I desired for a long time. Being that it took a lot of effort to cut down to 158, I feel I can use all that strength and energy that I was using to cut all that weight to apply toward my conditioning and my weight training now. I feel I am big enough.
That was Tim Brown, and he's still on the bottom because Sheets chose to take up and continues to control the leg.
It wouldn't surprise me here, Doug, that we may, maybe he'll still made it, but Sheets is hanging on that leg quite a bit. I was maybe thinking we might get a stalling call here if he continues to do that. Right now he's working up front.
Yes, Tim Brown flattened out there, and the leg in.
There's not an awful lot that Brown can do when he permits himself to get tied up in that position, however. That makes it tough. He's across that neck now, at least it appears to be. It sure appeared that way from the way I saw it, without question.
Okay. Unpopular for Tom Chesbrough. Little disagreement there.
Well, it was just a question of whether he was coming across the chin or coming on the neck, but
and I think are we getting an injury timeout call here?
I think so. I don't know if it was indicated such, but it should be at this point. Maybe we're getting an official's timeout, but it should be an injury time, and I think maybe it is.
We have a 2-1 score, and remember too that we're going to have hockey on IPBN next Saturday at 8 o'clock from the Des Moines Ice Arena. The Des Moines Buccaneers and the Dubuque Fighting Saints in the United States Hockey League, which is comprised of 3 teams from Minnesota and 4 from Iowa. By the end of the season, you'll have a chance to see all 4 Iowa teams in action on Iowa Public Broadcasting. IPBN hockey next Saturday at 8. That'll be live from the Des Moines Ice Arena. And this is wrestling from Hilton Coliseum at Iowa State University in Ames, the site of the 1982 National Championships in March. You're looking at the 158-pounder, 167-pounder, I beg your pardon, from Iowa State, Tim Brown, who is trailing 2-1. He got his only point on the call of an illegal hold.
Yes, illegal chokehold. Quick attempt on a stand-up, but Sheets no way. There, he turns it around behind.
And he leads 3-2.
Good power move.
With 50 seconds to go, but remember that Sheets has riding time and he'll keep it. So it's actually a tie now.
He'll keep the riding time at least till the duration of this period. Will he keep it all the way through?
He'll keep it all the way. It can't be taken away. He has too much.
Brown's tough there on top right now. He's getting, he's letting Sheets come to the stand-up position. He'll have to return him to the mat. There it is with a trip. Got to work behind those arms or keep it barred tight. Doesn't want to get too low with that on his hips, or Sheets could catch him for a reversal.
Sheets has pretty good shape there right now, I would say.
He's going to have to hang in on there so as not to lose points.
And he couldn't. He couldn't. It's 1 point. And with that point, it's a win for Mike Sheets because he has riding time. Well, that was the second period. Well, I'll tell you what. I must be in a hurry to get home tonight or something because I had...
Well, that's when you told me he had riding time. I thought maybe I had the wrong...
No. You knew what you were talking about. I was still up there at the popcorn stand.
Intentional release by Tim Brown, so we now have a 4-3 score. Sheets out in front. Tim's tough on his feet, and I'm sure he'd like to catch a 4-point move on Sheets here if he can, or a 5-pointer. Nothing else, at least a takedown. There's a duck under attempt by Sheets. There it is again.
He got the leg when he came out of it, though.
Sure did. He's in on that single, but we may...
A minute and a half to go.
Brown's got that whizzer in over there, but not real deep. Maybe he does. There it is.
He doesn't use that whizzer real hard. You see Mike Sheets trying to pull him back in.
He sure is, and Brown's going to have to straighten that leg off. Take it away from him.
Four to 3 Sheets, and he has riding time.
I believe Tim can score the takedown on Sheets here because he has the technique. He can move in underneath, I'm sure.
Sheets of Oklahoma State. Tim Brown of Iowa State, 167. Brown has the leg.
He's got it locked in. If he can pick it up and get a trip with it, he can score 2. He hasn't scored any points yet.
Nothing.
Good counter wrestling by Sheets.
Phil Henning gave him reaction time. That time is how much is left here. And I'll tell you, Tim Brown needs a takedown for a draw.
He's going to have to move in pretty quick like. He's only got 14 seconds left. He can't stay in there unless he gets something with it. There it is. He's got the leg if he can make it work. He's got to get a lift with it. If he gets a lift, he can take him off his feet. There's a trip.
He can't do it. There it is. That close.
Awful good match. It's too bad he had
Sure was.
2 great moves there in the last minute, which could have easily been 2 pointers if he could have just made a little bit more of a move to. But Sheets did a good job countering.
And so the Cowboys have tied it up. They've come back to an 11-11 meet because that was a 5-3 win for Mike Sheets. And the Cyclones, to get this thing turned around, are going to have to go because they have lost 3 in a row now.
Very few times do you get a rematch of the NCAA championship from the previous year. But it's 1983, and those 2 ruffians, Iowa's Barry Davis, a 3-time NCAA champion, and Iowa State's Kevin Darcus, a 3-time All-American, are at it again.
So how about that? That's the way it starts.
Yes,
Iowa against Iowa State.
So leave it up.
Well, here we go. At 126, a rematch of last year's 118-pound national championship match between Barry Davis, ranked number 1, and last year's champion, against Kevin Darcus, who finished second to him at 118 and is ranked 3rd this year. Davis has had the advantage in the past matches. He's won all 4 of them, and he's had the advantage on his feet, I think, Dave.
I think so. Davis is a very intensified wrestler. He keeps the pressure on. He's a good technician. He's strong, and of course, he's a very talented wrestler. Darcus, contrasting, is a leg wrestler. He's a mat wrestler. Sticks the legs in a lot. He's a good rider. He likewise is a very talented wrestler. Both boys have their own specialties.
You gotta stay in the middle. Get your shot now. Get your shot. Bring him down. Get it from there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. That's it. Get him off the edge.
Now you can hear lots of the people at Matt's side shouting out information. This is a big match, naturally.
Let him in. Block him out.
Well, when you consider this was the national finals last year, there he is.
Darcus is in on the leg. Davis countering over the top.
Blocks the head off, pushes the head down, comes over the top, blocks off through the rear crotch, puts a lot of pressure. We could get a stalemate here. Neither boy wants to forfeit the position he's in order to improve himself, because he likewise could lose points.
Stalemate. Minute 43 to go, first period. As we said, it's been one on the feet in the past. Davis has been able to take Darcus down. Darcus has occasionally had reversals, but those takedowns make a lot of difference. Davis of Iowa.
The only good effort so far has been on that one by Iowa State, right?
He's only a junior. Cedar Rapids Prairie High School.
Yeah.
From a great high school team.
Darcus got in and almost got the leg in there for a trip, or excuse me, Davis, but off the edge of the mat.
Minute 13 to go. First period. There's the first, shall we say, downstairs reach by Davis. Davis has that double arm, that 2-on-1 tie up in the arm.
That's right. He's trying to control that arm, maybe get a single shot off of it.
Iowa State backed up. That's a call against Darcus.
Get the action going.
Warning.
Wait, don't wait.
And Davis has the leg. What'll he do with it?
He's going to get the lift with it, perhaps. Maybe pivot, spin him to the mat. No points scored, still scrimmaging for the takedown. He gets a lift off of it. That's what he's attempting to do. Notice Darcus keeping the leg inside, warding him off. We won't get a stalemate position here, I don't believe.
But we have 25 seconds left. Question is, can Davis get that finishing move? He did.
Yeah, got the trip with it.
With 18 seconds to go in the period, it's now 2-0 Davis.
There you saw it right there. He got a nice little trip with that lift and that single and stuck it in. Put in a half Nelson to ward off any move on the part of the Darcus on the bottom.
And that's what he's been able to do in the past. That's been the difference. Now Darcus, who does quite well underneath.
Stands up for the whizzer hook. Faces off. There's his one.
He's willing to stand right in there and face off with him. Darcus is quite a strong youngster, and he likes the upper body if he can. It's 2-1 now at the end of the first period.
And there's no riding time to speak of for either competitor. 20 seconds for
11 seconds. There's some lights missing in that Darcus side, so he hasn't had any riding time yet.
Okay, I had 20 made out of that. That's why it's 0. I wondered why I said 20.
2-2. The 118-pound match was a draw between Thorne and Riley, if you just joined us.
Darcus staying in behind the arms, although he's got his head too far, and Davis stands up. He's trying to take that head with him. He'll probably face off and take the one. There it is.
3-1 Davis. Again, back on the feet again, where Darcus has to prove himself if he's to expect to win against this Iowa national champion. Minute 30. Darcus on the right in the red. Davis on the left in the black.
Davis caught Darcus's head down for a moment there. He's looking for an opening, but
Darcus has a little better position this time. He has him on his feet. Now let's look at these boys scrimmage against each other in this position. What will Davis do?
Got the whizzer in there right now, but they're near the edge of the mat. Darcus has got to bring him in if he expects to score. Got to get him to the mat under control.
No finishing move yet. Now they're back near the edge again on the other side.
Davis is doing a super job of warding that off with that overhook. Block it off, get the leg inside, good balance. Darcus is trying to control that leg, take it to the outside where he can maybe get a lift with it. Maybe also a trip, but Darcus keeps it inside. Or
half a minute left.
That leg inside. Looks like we're going to maybe go off the edge.
And I believe that Davis has saved himself beautifully on the edge of the mat with 15 seconds to go.
Great job of counter wrestling. Good job. Darcus got in there deep. Looked like he was going to make it work.
That's why he's a national champion. 3-1. Just a few seconds to go. And there's the end of the period with Darcus Davis leading 3-1. Chuck Patton down on Matt's side. How do you see it?
Team score 2-2, but I'm not so sure it shouldn't be in favor of Iowa. I don't think Iowa really wrestled hard in that match. I think Riley kind of set back on it, waited till the end, and as a result ended up with a tie and should have won it.
We're 126 now. Each man has had a strong single leg position. Davis was able to turn his into 2 points. Darcus couldn't hold Davis in his. And that's the difference. Davis starting on top. Darcus is out. It's 3-2.
And the stand-up overhook, faced out for the one. We got a 3-2 match at this point. A lot of wrestling left in this match.
There sure is. 3-2. Now Davis again in the single. Quickly. Whizzer by Darcus.
No points yet. No points. They're near the edge of the map. And notice the supporting parts of Davis are still in, so wrestling continues as long as he's got an opportunity to score.
Darcus just got that whizzer home, I'll tell you, or it was 2 for Barry.
Notice him warding it off, blocking off on the head. He did a good job of counter wrestling. Both boys have done some super counter wrestling on some initial moves by their opponents.
It's 3-2 in favor of Barry Davis on the left. They're out very close to the edge. The referee is Don Miller. The assistant referee here is Bob Siddons. They came on informally and took over for the scheduled referee tonight at the last minute.
Darcus is letting Davis in there a little bit around that body. Gets in there too tight. He may score the takedown.
You're watching Iowa and Iowa State on Iowa Public Television. I'm Doug Brown with Dave Hardy and Chuck Patton from Hilton Coliseum in Ames. This is the final period of this 126-pound match, and Davis is putting on the pressure, leading 3-2.
We could get a stalling call here pretty quick. There it is.
And that's a warning against Darcus. That should be a point, a penalty.
He had been warned previously. It's a penalty point. He was backing out of there. Now Davis comes right back in, picks up the single, hits the flip, puts him to the mat for 2. Intentional release for a 1-point escape.
A third period flurry by Davis. He's really come on strong at the end of this match. There are only 10 seconds left, and it looks like Darcus is going to have to wait till next time.
It sure appears that way. This will be 5 in a row for Davis.
No right in time, but a big win for Barry Davis. And Iowa takes the lead in the meet 5-2.
Good match, gentlemen. Very good match.
Barry Davis wins it 6-2. He got a couple of takedowns, and again, that was the difference. That was all the difference, in fact.
Here we see right here. It goes in there deep, gets behind that knee, gets a pick. Notice how he picks it way up, gets him off his legs, controls it, comes down for the 2-point takedown. Executed the way it's supposed to be.
Our next two adversaries were both 4-time All-Americans and each won an NCAA title. They faced each other in successive years for the NCAA crown. You can't get any better than Iowa's Dwayne Goldman versus Oklahoma's Dan Chay.
And I don't think it's going to happen, but then I've been wrong before.
Strange things sometimes do. But I think that Goldman's going to try to prove something in this match. He has 3 previous wins over Chay from Oklahoma, and Chay had that one win that really counted last year in the national finals.
Dan Chay against Dwayne Goldman. I was a little surprised in a way that Chay is wrestling because he's had the flu, I know, and now that the match is beginning to look doubtful, thought maybe Coach Dan Abel might hold him out, but I'm sure it was Chay's choice.
Yes, it may be just that he's going to try to get some experience against the style of Goldman. Win or lose, they can get ready to go against him in the national championships. That's what they'll all be looking for.
Dan Chay couldn't touch Goldman last year when he needed to until they got to the national finals, and that's when it counted. And Dwayne Goldman has finished as a runner-up in the nationals 3 consecutive years.
And I think if there's a man in his way, this might be the one right here. Beat him last year, and I know that Goldman certainly wants to win this match and the rest of them. The Chay's surprising Goldman last year was that he had a low-level attack late in the match. He tends to want to be an upper body wrestler. He has a lot of freestyle Greco experience, and he likes to have that attack go from the waist up. And then in the national tournament, he hit the low-level attack.
That was Mark Johnson you were looking at a moment ago, who is assistant coach for Dan Gable, a very important man in the Iowa program.
When you see Goldman doing that shoulder pop back out, that's when he becomes very dangerous. He's diversifying his offense a little bit here by wrestling from the closed position. In the past, he's always tried to work from the outside. Now, he's doing more inside wrestling with his hands on his opponent this year.
No score. We go back to the middle. A minute and 11 seconds to go. Iowa leads Oklahoma 23-11. Those last 2 victories by Kistler and Chiparelli, especially Chiparelli's fall, have just almost put it completely out of reach here. This is a rematch of the national title match last year. And Goldman gets the double leg and goes for 2. Boy, he saw the chance and he went right at it.
Nice little head tap on that before he went in there, and he's really tough on that attempt to get him over, too.
Goldman is not, you'd have to say, a pinner. He's had 16 wins this year, none of them by fall. And last year he had more than ever before, 6. In his entire career, out of all his many wins, more than 100, he's only had 8 pins.
He's keeping a lot of pressure on Chay from Oklahoma now, just with his ride. You see the clock clicking away, and that's preventing Chay from scoring because Goldman's keeping the pressure on him.
End of the period. And a big hand from the crowd goes up for Dwayne Goldman, who got the takedown he was looking for.
Oklahoma takes down. Second.
Oklahoma is making some strategy discussions. So he's in deep on this now. Just follows. Look at his steps. He stays right with him for about 10 feet. A couple of steps, gets the takedown.
Well, he saw his chance and he jumped like a cat that time. And Chay now has to come from behind. He's down 2-0.
In the position he's in, he's kind of sitting forward. Either going to switch out of that position or get his arm chopped, get knocked down. Put a lot of weight on those hands. It's a good way to give on up.
Goldman driving hard. He's been able to keep Chay off his base for a good 15 seconds of the period until right there.
Now he wants to build his up, build his base, get his head and chest up in the air, and then start to stand up, take that short sit out.
And Goldman lets him out. It's 2-1 with a minute and a half to go in the second period.
Interesting to watch the strategy the rest of the way they're out here.
Yeah.
Chay has to get it. Goldman's normally an aggressor. I'm sure he'll go right back at him.
2-1. Goldman, who was second in the Nationals last year. Chay, the man who beat him for the title.
When he gets under that arm, that kind of takes away Chay's offense unless he comes off it real quick and hits a headlock. Got his head under, but couldn't get his hips with it. There, get his hips started.
Back to the center, 2-1. Favor of Goldman.
Open it up. Open that lead up.
We're at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Goldman, almost had that. Some legs in there, but couldn't keep it.
Right, he had his arms out there, just didn't quite have his hips in with it.
We have 45 seconds to go. Second period. Goldman in black leads by 1. Now you're not seeing a lot of scoring, but you haven't seen Phil Henning giving any warnings here for stalling either.
This kind of takes away the offense when you get under those arms deep like that.
Again, you saw him try to go all the way under. Now, again, each man tried one of his favorite moves there and didn't get it.
You've seen Chay just pop his head under in that high crotch, but he just hasn't been able to get his hips in underneath Goldman's too well positioned.
And we're awfully close to the end of the second period. It's 2-1 Goldman. He got a takedown in the first period on a double leg, and then Chay escaped to start this period, and that's the only scoring so far. 2 periods gone. Goldman 2, Chay 1. Iowa 23, Oklahoma 11 in the team score. In our 10th season of college wrestling, our second week on Iowa Public Television, Stan Abel out there saw some hopes go a-glimmering here. He got a couple of big wins at 126 and 134 tonight. And Johnny Johnson managed to avenge a loss earlier this season against Royce Alger, but that's been it.
Well, Chay doesn't mind this position. You know, he likes to stay in behind. He tends to be a pretty good man with the legs. You see him throw the leg there, but he wasn't there.
But he got it
right over the top.
Reversal makes it 4-1 Goldman.
We call that jumping the leg. He knocked this man back to the mat and then went around and tried to put the leg on the other side. Goldman just elevated his hips and dumped him right over the top.
Now this is going to be the last time they'll meet before the Nationals. The importance of this match is going to be in seedings when they get down to the end.
It's definitely going to put Goldman in the driver's seat if he wins it. They don't go by national placings last year. Now Chay he picks him, and he dumps him, he sweeps him. Now he comes around the other side and goes to put the leg in, and Goldman just elevates his hip, dumps him right over the top. Score the reversal.
Here we go again in the center, 4-1 Goldman on top.
Goldman's been good here. He's got the leg in deep. There really isn't very many places he can go with this. He's got his arm trapped, got his shoulder posted. May end in a stalemate if he doesn't let go of the leg.
Henning says we've got to get away from that hold. 1 minute and 8 seconds to go. It's a 12-point team lead for Iowa over Oklahoma. The only way the Sooners could tie Iowa, they can't beat them, is if Chay got some kind of a miraculous pin here toward the end, and Mark Tatum did the same thing at heavyweight. Number 1 ranked Hawks.
Well, it's more feasible that the second one might happen than it
first.
is this one.
At heavyweight, it's Mark Tatum against Andy Heyman of Iowa City, a freshman at Iowa. And Tatum is nationally ranked for Oklahoma. Chay on the bottom in the referee's position. Goldman cut off his first move.
Well, Goldman's been very effective on top of taking away Chay's ability to just score easy points. He's making him work for him.
4-2. Riding time, a lot of riding time for Goldman. So although he leads by 2, he really leads by 3. Because the riding time can't be made up.
Basically, the only way Chay's going to beat him now is if he can score a takedown to his back. He does have some throwing ability. Goldman's got good position. This is where he's good. When he starts to get that little stutter step there, puts his hands on you and then backs out, and the next time you don't know whether he's coming or not.
20 seconds to go.
Now he's in deep.
And that was going to happen. That had to happen. You can see that Chay was getting a little desperate there toward the end, and Goldman was right where he wanted to be. He just had to wait for a mistake, and he leads 6-2. A big win for Goldman against last year's national champion. A 7-2 win with the riding time for Dwayne Goldman of Iowa.
4-time All-Americans are not a common occurrence. Yet for the second match in a row, here come 2 more. Iowa State's Tim Krieger and Iowa's Jim Heffernan.
Heffernan against Krieger. You know that Heffernan, the national champion, has never beaten Iowa State in a dual meet. Krieger beat Heffernan, the only loss either one of them has this year, and that heel pick by Krieger again almost got a takedown. It's one of his pet moves these days.
The story's going to be told right here, Doug, in this first period. If Heffernan comes out on the attack, well, we've got to meet. We know Krieger is probably going to come out on the attack like he just showed. It's up to Heffernan to create a mood right here of action.
Heffernan, a senior from North Olmsted, Ohio. Krieger, a sophomore from Mason City, Iowa, one of the best wrestlers to come out of Iowa in a long time. He's in on a leg against the whizzer from Heffernan. Where's it going to go?
And it's not much of a whizzer.
Heffernan hand fighting very well. Very well. Krieger can't get him off his feet. Now he did. 2-0. Krieger.
This is where Krieger has really improved over the last year. He has really developed his skills on his feet, and he's against one of the best in the nation. Is Heffernan right here on his feet. It's a telling story. Heffernan has to get up and create some action if he's going to be in this match.
2-0. Krieger. He took him down with a single leg, which might have surprised a few people here. That's Krieger.
In on him.
He's been a bear on top against people this year.
Here's a key right here. Heffernan has to come out hard. He cannot let Krieger get on top, put the legs in, and control the match like he's starting to do right here. Boy, that takes a lot out of you when you let those legs in and you start getting worn down.
Gotta go to something. Gotta go to something. We're for fall, top. Bottom, keep working now.
There's Krieger. He finally has Heffernan back down off his base again, and the official Bill Rotes calls him away. You know, it's hard to call either man for doing something because they're both working against the best there is.
I was just thinking about that too, and Krieger was really working hard high on the thigh there to try to turn him, and Heffernan was working hard to come out of it, and they were going strength against strength there.
Make a move there underneath.
Bottom, you gotta go to work.
Now Heffernan's trying to keep that leg out, trying to keep the leg out and clear himself, clear the hips right here. There he was able to do it, and that was the key. He cleared the hips.
And we're back on the feet again, 2-1.
Krieger had him in a crab ride, and the key to getting out of a crab ride is to be able to clear those hips, turn around, and get out of there, and that's what Heffernan did.
Now Heffernan again would like to move in closer because Krieger doesn't like to tie up out here. He likes to work from the open position. And Heffernan would like to get in and lock. work from his position. There's a shot from too far by Krieger that Heffernan couldn't counter. It's 2-1. Krieger, 6-6 in the meet. Well, Krieger is willing to put hands on here in this situation.
Tie up.
2-1. One takedown. Krieger had it. He got an outside single leg on Heffernan in the first period.
Iowa State, you're starting a little faster in their last match.
Krieger's going to defer.
Defers. Choice, Iowa.
Heffernan wants to go where? On the feet?
Both going out.
Yes, that's what they expected.
There was no score in the last time they met in the
Stay
first.
in black now.
And
Stay
in
in
fact,
black.
it took down to the last 6 seconds of the second period for Krieger to score his first takedown. He ultimately won the match. It's a little faster start this time.
Heffernan, who is an outstanding wrestler on his feet against Krieger, who has become an outstanding wrestler on his feet. Now you see Heffernan with the upper body, the front headlock. He'd like to shake Krieger out of this and get him in a bad spot, but Krieger fought his way out.
Right, and I pointed out earlier what Reagan was doing. Krieger did the same thing. He did not allow Heffernan to control that front headlock with keeping him on his knees. He got right up to his feet.
Krieger's had some neck problems, you know. I don't know whether it's a nerve or a muscle or what. And you saw him wince a little bit on that out-of-bounds position. That's affected him some. Here's Krieger.
On the
Heffernan
single.
and on the leg.
Now he's got to finish this single right here. Heffernan does. He's either going to step back and stutter step, lower his level, or he's going to drive right through, catch the other leg, trip. He's got to finish it here.
Let's go. You got to use it.
A lot of time. He has a minute to finish.
But he really doesn't. He's got to finish it now. Because the longer you stay up there, the longer Tim Krieger has to get that hip action in and the whizzer in, and he was able to dodge a bullet there.
All right, 2-1. Krieger leads. Boy, they've been tough every match. You're beginning to look a little tired there, Tim.
I've been in every one of these matches. It's unbelievable. Our viewers have to be just getting a kick out of this. This is great wrestling.
And I look up at the top of the South Sands and I don't see any empty seats anymore.
They packed it in tonight. What a great tribute to this meet. What a great year for college wrestling in the stands.
Iowa Public Television. It's the Hawks against the Cyclones in Carver Hawkeye Arena. It's 6-6 after 4 matches. Iowa State won 2, then Iowa won 2. And now we're against the top 2 wrestlers in the country by everybody's standards at 150 pounds.
Let's go. Circle back.
2-1 in favor of Krieger, the man in the red. He got a takedown in the first period. They started this period on the feet. Nobody scored. If you'd like to write in with comments and criticisms about our 11th season of college wrestling coverage, here's the address: Iowa Public Television, Box 6450, Johnston, Iowa. That's our new address. 50131. 50131. We'll show it to you again later. We'll have a little memory run through our college wrestling season at the end of our telecast tonight, too. So stick around. All right, Krieger starts on the bottom. Heffernan is out. It's now 3-1 in favor of Krieger.
You know, there was a lot of action by Krieger there. He stood up, controlled the hands, saw that he wasn't going to go anywhere, went into a standing switch, was able to get the escape there for 1 point by continuing a series of action.
It's very important here on the feet now. Now they settle it. Krieger, arm in the collar, is able to kick his leg away from Heffernan.
You know, it's got to be weighing on people's minds. Heffernan has never defeated an Iowa State wrestler in a dual meet, Doug. And it's coming down to the last minute and 15 seconds for his last opportunity.
They both took shots. Krieger won, then Heffernan followed. Now Heffernan is in on the single, but a good whizzer, a good power whizzer. Oh, a beautiful lip arm out by Heffernan on a takedown. 3-3. That was pretty.
He did what Krieger did to get out. He didn't stay with one move. He got in, he wasn't able to complete it, and he went right into another series, snapped him by, spun around for the 2 points. Nice job by Jim Heffernan. Right here, he went in for the single leg, lifted up, wasn't going anywhere. Right here, he limps arm right here and goes around for 2. It wasn't a snap down, he just got him out of position so much that it affected him like that.
Now 4-3. There was some speculation if Heffernan could take Krieger down twice, he could beat him. That would be the only way. And we have 27 seconds to go. Oh, it's coming down to a barn burn finish. Here's a warning against Krieger. Heffernan has a leg, but can he keep it? 8 seconds to go. 8 seconds. No, he can't. And it's going to be Krieger again. You know, you watch them and you wonder if they've settled anything. But it's Krieger for Iowa State. And we come to the halfway point between Iowa State and Iowa with the Cyclones in Iowa City leading by 3, 9-6.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. That's how Oklahoma State's 3-time All-American Alan Freed felt after losing in the NCAA Finals in successive years to Iowa's Tom Brands. In this 1991 match, Freed realized what the future had in store.
Tom Brands, defending national champion, and a terrific freshman from Oklahoma State named Alan Freed. They have split in 2 meetings over the last 2 years. They met just recently in the NCAA Coaches All-Star meet, and Tom Brands won that one in overtime.
Well, Coach Briggs, you had a couple of wrestlers in that All-Star meet, and you got the opportunity to watch that match.
That's correct. That was a real good match. They ended up 4-4, and then it went into the sudden death. It was an interesting match. Freed was in on Brands, had the leg up on a single. Brands turned and shot away from him to counter it, and he lost his shoe and his sock. I've never seen that before, but might have said he won by a shoelace.
Well, and you can see the tongue of the shoes hanging out there, and he laces his shoes up not quite all the way, and possibly it worked to his advantage.
Here comes Freed and a good counter by Tom Brands.
Well, I don't think he did that on purpose or does that on purpose. Some guys just like to have their laces tight, and other guys like to have them a little bit loose and feel a little bit more comfortable. But it was unbelievable. Like I say, when after Brands had shot away, Freed was standing there left hanging on to nothing except his shoe and his sock.
Look at the kind of position these guys keep. They're just solid rocks out there in balance, and
both excellent technique wrestlers.
Straight on to each other. That's Tom Brands' shoes. You see with the long tongue there, and on each one.
Here we go, controlling the head again on top. You can't do much from underneath when you're under the man, and that's where you like to be, is on top of the head.
Freed tried to come under, but Brands managed to keep his stability there and fight it off. We go back to the center again.
Got 2 excellent athletes here.
Talk about excellent athletes. There's Kenny Mundy, Olympic world champion, OSU national champion, one of the all-time greats, not only at OSU, but in wrestling history. Now an assistant coach at Oklahoma State.
In a match like this, I mean, the mental concentration that's necessary is really something, because you let your attention wander just once.
You've got to focus for the entire 7 minutes when you're out there. Just focus right in on what's going on.
And that's what's so apparent about these two, because you can just see
There's a
that
single leg by Freed. What can he do with it? What can he do with it? He got the double. He got the takedown. It's Freed going out in front of Brands, 2-0.
That was an excellent shot by Freed there. He did a nice job of not only the shot, but he turned the corner, cut across, got control right here. Now Brands tries to come back with a counter.
Interesting scramble. Here we are in one of those scrambles again.
Back and forth. That's excellent wrestling. That's what it's all about.
Boy, they just keep moving.
Like I say, here's what he does. A nice job of turning the corner. He stays low. That's what we try to get all of our athletes to do, is to stay low on a single. A lot of guys want to come up around the hips.
And then
it's too easy to counter.
Off the whistle, here's Brands trying to control the hands as he comes up.
Yes, that's one green. Your hands are on the hook. Yeah.
Mike Exline said hands locked down.
They were right there. Set.
And that's a point. Locked hands.
Well, Brands was coming up, and then Fried tried to lock his hands, and Brands went right back down. Got caught with a penalty.
There's a hand control now. He's where he wants to be. Tom Brands is where he wants to be to come out. It's very important at the end of this. Oh, wow!
There's the reversal. End of the first period.
Coach talked to me about the importance of scoring with 5 seconds or less left.
That's what I talked about a little bit earlier. Just intensity right here, just going. Right now, Fried's trying to just barely hang on.
And Tom Brands knew how much time was left. He knew the importance of that.
Oh, yeah, and then that just gave him the motivation to get it. That's going to make a big difference in this match right here.
3-2 in favor of Brands,
right.
the man on top, and Fried had his choice. He took the bottom position.
These guys are both mentally tough, but that last flurry right there at the end of that with 4 or 5 seconds left, I think is going to give Brands the edge in this match.
Well, you look for that window of opportunity to break the other wrestler, and there's nothing better than to score with almost no time left in any period.
Now, this is the first time that Fried has had the bottom position, too. He started here at the second period, and Brands has controlled him very well. 30 seconds gone, second period. Assuming that they're going to stay at this weight for a while. Boy, look at all the matches we have to look forward to with these two guys over the next couple of years.
You know what Tom Brands does real well here, is I observe, is stays behind the arms very well. He controls the hips, but he stays behind the arms. He's a tight rider, isn't he?
He's really tough. He does a nice job with it.
Fried is having a little trouble on the bottom here against Tom Brands.
Tom Brands would like to get that bar arm, the arm behind Fried's back right there and work it for a pinning combination.
He's doing a nice job of keeping pressure down. That's where a lot of guys lose that hold right there.
On the edge, you see again, Brands wasn't through.
Well, it looked like Brands basically was letting up Fried there at the end of that flurry, right?
Well, he was coming out with the near wrist and trying to keep pressure down, and it's like he knew he wasn't going to get it, so let's go back on our feet.
That's Joe C., who's watching one of his star pupils out there. Alan Fried ranked second against the top-ranked man, Tom Brands of Iowa. Should probably be giving you the score a little more often. 9-0, Iowa won the first two matches, and they won them big over the Perler brothers. Zapp and Harry Brands were big winners, technical fall and major decision. Now here's a warning against Alan Fried for backing up over the line. Mike Exline is being very quick about that tonight.
Now I think you're going to start to see Brands control Fried's head a little bit more. He had a little bit of success with it right there. You know, not only almost got the shot, but he got him called for stalling.
We're almost through the second period now. 3 seconds to go.
What's really interesting about both of these wrestlers is they not only have great low attacks, but they both can throw also.
3-3 at the end of the second period, but Brands gets to go underneath. So now the question is, what Joe C. is telling Alan Fried what he wants him to do here. When to let him up. Probably. Brands has had very good luck working the hands and then coming out, and he's ahead 4-3 now, and we go back to the feet.
Again, see where they are? Brands is pushing, and he's got Fried backed up against the mat right there. Brands is putting the pressure on right now.
The score is 4-3. Now Brands doesn't have a takedown in the match yet. He does have one reversal, but he had the locked hands penalty that is the difference too here. Now Fried and Brands are at each other, but Brands is in on the legs And he's ahead 6-3.
Nice little flurry right there.
You know, and Coach Briggs, you pointed it out earlier, that started by controlling the head. Just like you said, Brands was in on the head, then he dropped down, and he was able to complete that by staying on it. A couple of series of moves right there, and he scored.
There's a warning against Freed on the bottom. It's a penalty against Freed on the bottom. Makes it 7-3.
Brands is back on that near wrist, doing a nice job, keeping the pressure down. Here it comes again. That's right where he wants to be. Pressure down on the guy. He just lost pressure. Lost him the pressure they wanted to keep him down with right there.
All right, the escape.
Get the escape.
7-4 now with the escape. And in again comes Brands. Boy, he is overwhelming Freed all of a sudden in this last period.
He's turned it into a mental game.
9-4 with 33 seconds to go.
A combination of mental and shape again.
Nice shot right here. Nice follow-up, good pressure. Follows up, controls the hips. Doesn't come up too high.
Freestyle start. Brands wants to take him down again if he can here at the end with 30 seconds to go.
He's got a little bit of insurance with being ahead by 4 points. He can afford to let him go, you know, and not have to worry about if he makes a mistake and gets taken down. He's still in control of the match, but he's just done a nice job of controlling him all the way through. Back on the head again right now.
Let's go.
9-5, Brands over his arch rival here, Alan Freed.
Well, Tom Brands is in this match. He was in this match all the way 7 minutes, and it really showed. He had it all the way through.
Freed got the first takedown, and then that was it. A big victory for Tom Brands over Alan Freed of Oklahoma State University. And the Hawkeyes have rolled out for the first 3 weights. Big victories.
3-time NCAA runner-up Chad Zappital of Iowa tangled with Iowa State's Eric Aken 2 or 3 times each year. The advantage usually went to Zappital, but Aken never made it easy.
And this has been some match every time out between this man, Eric Aken, ranked 3rd, and Chad Zappital, now ranked 1st. A sophomore against a junior. They'll be back in other years. And they've tussled in close ones all season. 1 win for Aken, 1 draw, 2 wins for Zappital, including the last time out. That's why he's now ranked higher.
Now push him.
Last time they met, neither wrestler were able to score in the first period. I think that it'll be different this time, and I think the person that scores out first has a definite advantage in this series, Doug.
Aken tying up with that Russian tie-up, the 2 arms, 2-on-1. Try to control Zappital that way, and then make his move off that, like that, right on the edge of the mat. The referee, by the way, is Mike Pyle of Grinnell. If you were watching the National All-Star meet, you saw Pyle was one of the 2 officials there. Mike Pyle of Grinnell is the official tonight.
Different wrestlers like different styles, and believe it or not, these 2 like the same style from the start. They like to control each other's head. But then there are some differences, and we'll talk about them as they go on, but both like to start out set up by controlling the head, snap down, push aside, and create their offense.
Well, actually, you know, they're 1-0. That was Aken in regulation time was 1 win and a draw, but Zappital has beaten Aken twice in overtime.
Well, but you're right. Zappital has yet to beat Aken this year in a regulation match. He has not beaten him in a regulation match, and so he has to do something. To win tonight, he has to do something he has not done yet this year.
Those were tournament meets, except for the All-Star, which was allowed to go into overtime. We're on Iowa Public Television. We're just underway at Carver Hawkeye Arena before a capacity crowd. Lots of people here to see number 1 against number 2. Aken in the red of Iowa State against Zappital. Zappital could not get that little shuck working the way he'd like to, so it's still back in the tie-up position with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. First periods are 3 minutes long, if you recall, and 2 minutes, second period, 2 minutes in the third.
I think you'll see right here, you saw that Zappital tried to shuck the head and go by high, but what Zappital likes to do is mix it up. You may see him stuff the head down to a heel pick, lower his level into a single leg. He has a variety of attack from that head that he starts out with.
Under the arms, that's Aken underhead. but Zappitl came right over the top that time and almost took away Aken's balance completely, but they come back up in the even position, no score. We have 30 seconds to go. In the first period, no score, Iowa and Iowa State at 118.
At this level, when you're the best couple of wrestlers in the country at a weight class, the margin is so small that sometimes you don't have a lot of scoring.
Snap his head. Work his head. Get off your knee.
Now, Aken has 3 seconds here before he gets into the mat positions where he feels that he's been successful against Zappitl in several of these matches.
Well, you're right. This is not how either one of them wanted to start this match right here, though. I think both coaches want their wrestlers to open up more than they have.
Aken has his choice after Zappitl deferred, and so Aken takes bottom position. Zappitl will have his choice in the third period. Aken tried to stand. He doesn't have hand control, although he's on his feet. Now he has it, he's out.
He got hand control as he came up. He lowered his hips and was able to get out.
1-0 Aken.
Aken does a really nice job of getting out from underneath.
Out of bounds, we have Aken against Zappitl. Zappitl is a junior and Aken is a sophomore, so you will see these two matching up again in future years if they don't move up into higher weights away from each other.
Both wrestlers really trying to control that inside in the head. You imagine they're just, they're really going after it, slapping and digging just so they can get control, because that's how they like to wrestle. It just happens that both of them like the same setups.
Nobody has been warned, although there's been no scoring. Mike Pyle says they're working at it.
I was going to say, there's been no stalling so far right here. Both of them working for the inside position. It's just strength against strength.
They stayed out in the center too, pretty much. We have 50 seconds to go in the second period. Iowa against Iowa State. Aken leads 1-0, having escaped at the beginning of this period. Now they're right on the edge, and I think Mike Pyle is telling him to move away if he can, just back out to the center, give themselves a little room.
See, now there's the lower shot by Zappitl right there, and he likes to go low if he has the opening right there. Aken is yet really to shoot low. Now there's a single leg, and right when he gets in on this, he is really good at executing, but also Aken is good at the hips. And you saw strength against strength again.
So Aken hipped out. We have 10 seconds to go here at the end.
Zappitl is very strong when he gets in on a single leg, but that's how good a job Aken did when he was able to hip out of that control position that Zappitl was in.
And Aken got into the front headlock on defense, but he was on the end of on the edge of the mat, couldn't take advantage of it. We have only a couple of seconds here before we go to the third period. No takedowns yet. Aken leads 1-0. Zappitl gets his choice. He's going to go under.
Well, here's the escape right here, the 1 point that's been scored in this match. And watch, right here, hips are down now. He controls that arm, both hands on the hand, gets out. 1 point, Aken.
Be interesting to see here. Zappitl is against Aken, who is a strong rider. He has the hands. He's out. That was a big there.
Right there is a very important part of wrestling.
And he got it. Now that was really important because you could tell that the Iowa coaches were very concerned about Zappitl getting out quickly. He not only got out, but he turned around and took Aken down and now leads 3-1.
Well, that should be in every instructional highlight in wrestling for high school and young wrestlers right there. Watch this. Escape. Now, look at, he's right back in, drops down to the knee, drives in for the double leg, keeps driving, takes the angle, adjusts his hips. You see that nice little sit, but he never let up once he got an escape. So many wrestlers think it's a escape then takedown. No, it's all one series, and Zappitl just showed you how to do it.
Aken is not out yet.
Still green. He's taking him down. Still Iowa's control, guys.
Zappitl still has control. What a big match.
Nice escape.
Now Aken comes out.
All
He's
comes down to a
3-2.
takedown now, Doug.
3-2. Such a big escape right at the beginning of the period. Zappitl took away one of Aken's strengths, which is the riding position, and he turned it immediately into a takedown.
Well, it's like a three-point shot in basketball. You know, there's a big difference. That's a three-point move in wrestling. Look at this escape by Aken. Nice little sit out above the head, gets out. Now he's put himself in a position to win himself.
So it's 3-2 in favor of Zappitl. Riding time will not come into play here. We have a minute to go in the match. Aken is tied up with the 2-on-1, and Zappitl is in tough on the head.
Use what you got.
It's the opening match at Iowa against Iowa State.
Now you have smart wrestling coming into play here. Zappitl does not have a stalling warning. Until he gets one, he can play it safe by his strategy has to be keep the inside position and don't let Aken in, but he does not have to commit himself.
Zappitl from the parents there from
Mystic, Iowa. Centerville High School.
The southern tier of counties.
Diane and Joe Zappitl.
It's 3-2 in favor of the man in black. Zappitl with 20 seconds to go. Aken is going to have to make a move here very quickly. He's not going to have to be particularly cautious about it. He's going to have to go. We're in the last 10 seconds, and it looks like Zappitl. It is Zappitl. It's Iowa getting the lead. High school foes, college rivals. This matchup was one that went on for nearly a decade. All-Americans Mark Ryland of Iowa and Steve Hamilton of Iowa State knew each other like a book. The only question was, who would write the ending?
This is one, I'm just going to say it. The Iowa fans smell a shutout. And if they're going to get it, they have to win this match.
They have to
here.
beat Hamilton. They have to beat the #1 ranked man. But Ryland, of course, is the defending national champion. He's been having a slow year. But I think the sense is that Ryland may be back.
Well, he's a big match wrestler.
And
that's how he won the NCAAs last year. A big pin over Kevin Randleman, the freshman sensation out of Ohio State last year. And I've always been impressed with Steve Hamilton. They've wrestled since they were in junior high. Steve Hamilton out of Emmitsburg, Mark Ryland out of Eagle Grove. A great rivalry. And it's culminating right here. Two seniors, two of the best in the nation.
Well, they've been separated in weights the last couple of years. But now here's a Hamilton back up at 167. And they're at it again. Steve Hamilton from Emmitsburg, Mark Ryland from Eagle Grove, and although his parents are now living in Iowa City and right here in town. Hamilton's lost once this year. So a very good wrestler, as a matter of fact, from Marquette.
Away from the edge, guys, in the middle.
And Mark Ryland has an 11-5. That seems strange for him to be 11-5 after a national championship year, but he's been putting it together lately. Back up to his 8th spot.
Both of these wrestlers are very hard to get by the first line of defense. The hands right then, and then once you get past the hands, that's only the first door to go through, because then you hit their hips. See, Hamilton's able to get in past the hands, but he ran right into the hips.
Two of Iowa High School's best products of the last few years. Hamilton and Ryland.
Look at that stat, 29 takedowns for Iowa, 2 for Iowa State. No takedowns in this match so far, with only about a minute left in the first period.
Ryland and Hamilton still at it. They met in the national duel. There's the high crotch move by Hamilton. Can he do it?
Takedown.
Takedown
Able to get in on the single.
Cyclone.
You know, Steve Hamilton, there are some wrestlers that a takedown means a lot. Steve Hamilton is one of those wrestlers. He gets a takedown, it's really extra hard to beat him.
Ryland likes to scramble. He likes these switch positions like that. And here he comes. Hamilton rolls. No reversal yet. These scramblers are tough situations. And Hamilton won that one. How about it? Here comes Ryland again with 19 seconds to go.
But right there, Steve Hamilton needs to move up. The referee should be asking him to move up. That's close. You know, on the replay there, that you're going to see that control may have changed hands. Here's the takedown right here. In on a high crotch, up into good position. Look at him come back up. Head to the outside right there. Nice dump. Drives him to the hips. 2 points.
Was that a fun scramble or not?
Oh, that's a great scramble. Like to be able to, you know. Here we go now. Watch this. Who has control? Who has control? I think it was questionable enough that the referee can't really be questioned. It was his judgment. It was close, though. I can see the coaches from Iowa.
We have 5 seconds to go. Nope. That is the end of the first period.
Well, it's a good takedown for Hamilton, but I'm impressed with what Mark Ryland's doing right now as far as activity, Doug. He's staying active underneath.
And he starts underneath in the second period, trailing 2-0. Hamilton had a takedown on a high crotch move in the first period, managed to survive a big scramble. But this time, Ryland pulls out for his first point. It's 2-1. We're back on the feet again. Hamilton now up at 167 for Iowa State, has picked up the #1 ranking at his new weight this year. Here wrestling against the defending national champion, his old friend and colleague, Mike Rowdy. Two fellas who make the North Central Iowa people, you know, think that their wrestling is the best in the world. You know,
well, they traditionally and long time put out great wrestling in North Central Conference, in the Lakes Conference, everybody up in North Central Iowa.
We'll see what's happening in high schools this year as we go next Saturday night to the Betts Auditorium for the state high school meet. Jim Zaleski there on the ride.
You might be wondering, you know, Mark Ryland's in the lineup, but those loyal fans that have been watching have seen Keith Trammell in the lineup earlier in the year for the Hawks. You might be wondering what happened. Mark Ryland didn't just get slipped back in because he's national champion. He defeated Trammell pretty decisively, in a 13-1, in fact, in a wrestle-off for this position right here. Not to say there won't be another wrestle-off, but Mark Ryland is back and has earned the spot. And that says a lot about the Iowa program when a national champion is pushed and has to win it this late.
50 seconds to go, 45 seconds to go. Hamilton, as you see, has been reaching under there a couple of times in this period for that high crotch move, which he scored on late in the first period.
Like I said, in a match like this, any score is a big score. Not the same with the matches we've seen earlier, like with the Steiner-Jackson match. 1 point's a big point.
And it's 2-1. 19 seconds to go as referee Mike Pyle from Grinnell brings the combatants back to the center again. Time's a-wasting here in the second period, 2-1.
Hamilton will be down in the third period.
And there it is. Okay, 2-1. A minute of riding time for Hamilton. Hamilton decides he's going to stay up. He wants to protect that 1 minute of riding time, maybe. So that's an interesting decision here. An interesting decision for Hamilton.
Come on, work. You got to work, guys.
Because Mike Pila's going to make him work.
Yeah, and you know, that's very strategic on Hamilton's part because now he can give a stalling warning and a stalling point up and win this match with no more offensive scores happening.
It wouldn't be very popular at Carver Hawkeye.
No, but Hamilton is a very smart wrestler.
But you're absolutely right. Hamilton.
I don't think he really cares how popular he is.
Working hard on the head. He's trying to control Mark Ryland's head. Mark hasn't made a successful shot at him. Here's a warning against Ryland.
He hasn't, and you called it, Doug.
A minute 20 to go. 2-1. Hamilton over Ryland.
That might be the best thing, probably the best thing that could have happened for Mark Ryland there, right, Doug? Getting warned for stalling, maybe getting a little fire.
On the edge, out of bounds. Here we come back to the center. Hamilton 2, Ryland 1. That's Dan Gable. He'd like to have a shutout here. His team leads.
Well, what he'd like to have is a shot by Mark Ryland. He's not going to get a shutout without a shot.
24-0. And Hamilton has a 1-point lead and riding time by 1. Right on the money, 1 minute. Now see, that keeps the official off Steve Hamilton, whether he can actually take the man down or not. 35 seconds. Hamilton controls the head.
Well, now Hamilton, you know, he's not doing anything either. He's just wrestling a very smart match because he hasn't been warned yet.
24 seconds to go.
But, you know, it's up to Ryland to score here to win in the first place.
Hamilton controls the head again. We're 15 seconds down. As long as he keeps Ryland down, it's not much hope for the defending national champion who has not made a shot. Dan Gable's not pleased. 6 seconds. And Hamilton wins 3-1. With riding time, Hamilton wins 3-1.
Six times Iowa's Terry Steiner and Iowa State's Torrey Jackson met in 1992. They split 3-3. So why wouldn't you expect more of the same in 1993 from rivals who compiled 5 All-American honors between them?
For a lot of people, this is the feature match coming up. Number 1 ranked Terry Steiner against this man, Torrey Jackson, ranked 4th, but he and Steiner have met 12 times in the past. This is the 13th meeting, the first this year. Last year they went 3-3. They're both All-Americans. Steiner is undefeated in 1993, you can see.
Well, we've talked about how explosive Torrey Jackson is, and you know, he can hit you anytime and he can score. But the thing is, sometimes he doesn't attack. And right there, he's on the attack, and that's what Terry Steiner needs to do too. He can't hang out.
Good whizzer, very powerful whizzer by Steiner, gets that position free, the overhook.
Both these wrestlers have attacking style, and they need to wrestle their style. You can't sit back in a match against either one of these.
In 12 matches, Steiner has won 7, Jackson has won 5. Most of them have been high scoring, although the last one wasn't. They're at the same weight. Neither one of them has won a national title yet, so apparently there's a leg shot by Steiner, which Jackson fights off. So one of these people is doomed to disappointment this year.
Yeah, that's right. There can only be one national champion, and you can bet both of them have their eyes on it.
One or both, you have to say, actually, because Steiner was 5th last year, 3rd the year before. Jackson was 6th last year. Steiner is in, but Jackson's across the back, and this with the whizzer in there, he's not bad position, and it's out of bounds anyway.
Well, Jackson's as talented and gifted as they come, and and he's strong also.
Torrey Jackson against Terry Steiner, Iowa State against Iowa, with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the first period. No score. At Hilton Coliseum on College Wrestling, Tim Johnson. And I'm Doug Brown. We have a good crowd on a snowy night, a stormy night in Ames. An undefeated wrestler for the Hawkeyes here against an old rival, Torrey Jackson, ranked number 4 in the country.
Come on, guys. Action, guys. Action, guys. Go! Action, guys.
The man calling for action is the official, the referee, Pat McCormick of Hampton, New Jersey. When he's not refereeing wrestling matches, he's working for NASA.
Well, see, one thing about Torrey Jackson is he can explode for 2 at any time, but he can also get called for stalling at any time. It's just, it's one of those things that...
And he just was. And he just was, Warren. Next time, it's a point.
Just what I said. You know, but the next thing you know, Torrey Jackson can go in and boom, hit a takedown.
On their feet with about 35 seconds to go. That's the way the takedowns go. You saw a bunch of them from Lincoln McElravy to run that score up to 16, run the total up. 150 pounds, Iowa and Iowa State. Steiner undefeated this year. But it's hard to go through a season meeting Jackson.
Oh, there's a nice shot right there. It was a very good single. He needs to complete this. This is a real important attack for Torrey Jackson.
He doesn't have much time, though. It's about to end the first period here.
See, what Steiner does so well is stuff that head.
No score in the first period. Just a couple of seconds to go. And the first period ends scoreless between Steiner and Jackson. This is what's happened so far. Zapp will beat Aken. He looked good in that one. Williams pinned Elam for Iowa State up. Then Troy Steiner dominated Derek Monsieur, and Lincoln McElravy dominated Jody Wilson. 2 big wins in a row for Iowa, and they lead now 12-6. The choice went to Steiner. Terry Steiner started the second period of Iowa. Torrey Jackson, Iowa State on top, no score. Steiner's out, first point. And Steiner has a leg. Can he make hay with it?
Well, what he's doing is, the only problem he's got is he's so close to the edge and he just steps out.
1-0 Terry Steiner. One of the Steiner twins from Century High School in Bismarck, North Dakota. Torrey Jackson from Eastern High School, Lansing, Michigan. Good high crotch by Steiner, the way you draw it on the board.
But Jackson did a nice job of hipping out, but now Steiner is covering his hips. He's continuing to stay close to the body, cut across the 2.
The first takedown here goes to Steiner.
That was a good action-reaction there. Jackson giving good reaction, but Terry Steiner coming back, staying close to the hips, keeping a lot of pressure on and coming around for the 2 points.
And now for the first time, Steiner is in a position where he's been dominant this year. On top, puts the leg in, keeps Jackson flat.
Whatever I was saying about Troy Steiner earlier, as far as liking it on top and on the mat, you can just say ditto for Terry Steiner. They look pretty natural here, and I've said a lot of times they use their legs like arms, so he's got a lot of tools there he's trying to turn Jackson with. 25
seconds to go. You break people down off their foundation, and then you try to turn them over when they don't have their legs under them to help. And Jackson has been flat here ever since Steiner took him down about a minute ago. 3-0 here.
Keep going, guys. Keep going, guys. Watch that knee.
Iowa 12, Iowa State 6. We're at 150. Let's see if we can get that takedown we just had.
Aries in on the single leg right there. Now watch. He keeps covering, keeps the pressure on him. All of a sudden you're going to see the arm come through. Double leg, cut across, 2 points.
Now it's Jackson's choice. He'll start underneath. Is this right? No, he doesn't want to go under there anymore. He's going to start on the feet.
And then on the leg he needs to finish it.
Steiner fought it off.
He can get in there, but he's having trouble following up.
Here he comes around on the single leg, but again, Steiner counters.
Which McGru did a nice job of that same move in the last match, scooting the hips.
Steiner doing very well. As long as Jackson keeps the leg, he's probably okay. There was a takedown called, 5-0. There was a takedown for a reversal for Steiner. 5-1 on the escape.
Jackson did a great job of getting back in.
And Jackson went right back at it.
And this is what I'm talking about, relaxing. Right there, Terry Steiner relaxed just for a split second. Jackson was back in. Douglas didn't like the call earlier, but right here, look at Jackson's back in on a double leg. And he turns the corner really well, takes his base away. Look how he squashes that knee there and he gets his 2
Bobby
points.
Douglas is out. He wants to talk to Pat McCormick, and let's listen.
Two and an escape. And I'll tell you, before the toe, I thought he had his hips to the side. Okay? It was a tough call. It was very close. Okay? He's got his first warning. First warning.
And that's a warning because he was not talking about interpretations. He was questioning judgment. And so that's a warning against the Iowa State bench. And there's Jackson.
That was a nice job by Jackson.
Torrey Jackson of Iowa State against Terry Steiner of Iowa. Steiner leads 5-3 with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the match. Now it's 6-3 after the escape.
Here's where both wrestlers, again, have to be on the attack. They can't be hanging back. Whoever attacks is going to win.
6-3 Steiner.
13 times they've wrestled. That's just amazing when you consider.
There's a low leg take and a double leg, no score yet. Steiner keeping his balance and he's in there still. There it is, takedown, 6-5.
Well, really, Jackson needs to let him go. And he's going to get a break here on that stalemate. He'll look at the coaches. They're going to say,
there is no riding time, by the way.
No.
50 seconds for Steiner. So I'm sure that Jackson is going to let Steiner go and try to take him down to tie it, maybe go into overtime. Here's the international start. It's 6-7-5. And Jackson is going to try to tie it with 18 seconds to go.
And all he needs is 2 seconds to score. That's how quick and fast he is.
There have been no warnings against Steiner, so Steiner can't afford one. He got one just there.
One warning, green.
Jackson is going to have to make a shot. He did not make it. He did not make it.
About that, guys.
And Terry Steiner stays undefeated.
Aggressive, dirty, tactical. Call it what you want, but when Oklahoma State's J.J. McGru and the Hawkeyes' Joel Sherritt got together, hands flew, sparks flew, and bodies flew. So stand back. There is last year's national champion at 190 pounds. His name is Joel Sherritt. He's an Iowa Hawkeye, undefeated this year, going up against a rated wrestler, an extremely talented Oklahoma State Cowboy named J.J. McGru. Identical records.
Both 13-0, and Joel Sherritt needs to be on top of this game every time he wrestles J.J. McGru. J.J. McGru, actually, talent-wise, he's got as much as any or more than anybody in the United States, but Joel Sherritt has been able to beat him in close matches. Last year in this match, NWCA championships, he won 5-3, and in the NCAAs, he got by 3-2. Joel Sherritt's the national champion.
In on the leg, the high crotch move by Sherritt. We're on the edge, and Sherritt wants to make something of this. They're still in. McGru working across the body to try to void the takedown attempt. And they are out of bounds. Referee Pat Fitzgerald sends him back to the middle. He's the head official here. There's J.J. McGru.
What McGru's looking for is that first takedown.
Yeah,
you get behind Joel Sherritt and you're in trouble. He's hard to catch up on because he's got good position. He's got that good defense.
And Sherritt, with a lot of mental power, national champion, a tremendous work ethic, drives his way to the first takedown and leads 2-0.
Actually, it's a precarious 2 points that he gave Joel Sherritt, and ends up now McGru giving up the any advantage he had with the arm. So there's a big 2 points for Joel Sherritt. He likes to get out ahead because very few ever come from behind on him.
2 undefeated wrestlers ranked, I believe in the last individual matchup, we haven't had one for a while. McGru was ranked 3rd. Sherritt trying to put McGru on his back there just for a second. He's out on the side, maintain control here for the greater part of the minute. He's up to 50 seconds riding time now.
Sherritt being tested for the first time this year in this tournament. Tested, of course, Emilio Collin from Michigan State. Ranked second, and now the 3rd ranked J.J. McGru. So this has been a great opportunity for Joel Sherritt to just see where he's at. And so far, he likes what he sees of himself, and I'm sure the coach does too. Tough-nosed Minnesota native who was really, he was a runner-up as a sophomore, won the national title last year as a junior, and going undefeated this year so far.
And gets out, he's out at the edge of the mat. That's an escape for J.J. McGru. The Hawkeye Joel Sherritt leads 2-1. National team duels. This is the championship meet between Oklahoma State and Iowa. Oklahoma State got through, as we said, Indiana. They beat Indiana in the first round. They beat Arizona State in the second round. And then took Nebraska, the home team, in a good meet to come into the finals. Iowa, meanwhile, went through the top bracket, losing, I think they lost 2 matches in each meet, but they have never lost more than 2 this year at any meet, and they've only lost 1 here. Here's Sherritt again with head and arm control.
See, he keeps that inside. He puts so much pressure on you, and he likes to be inside. And you get inside, you're a lot closer to be able to penetrate on your opponent. It beats, you know, that under and inside beats overhook and high anytime because you're closer to your opponent and you get better penetration. That's what he likes to do, is dig in, and get in there close.
Again, front headlock. McGru and Sherritt. Sherritt leads by 1 here with just a couple of seconds left in his first period. It's been a tough meet for Oklahoma State. They got a win from Mark Smith at 177 pounds over Ray Brinzer, and that's been it, 22-3. Sherritt underneath. He has 58 seconds of riding time, by the way, as Smith comes over him. Good first move by McGru. Did I say Smith or something? I'm always 1 match behind, I guess, in my mind. Sherritt's out.
Look at
he wants to stuff the head.
You can really see here, if you're a high school wrestler, how the position is so important, because all that Joel Sherritt's trying to do is destroy his opponent's position so that he can easily walk around. He's stuffing that head, posting the arms, and just walking around his opponents.
And he knows this is what, if they don't know it when they come into Iowa, they do know it after Dan Gable works with them for a while, that when you get out in that escape, you don't have that split second of self-congratulation, you know, and you kind of collect yourself and think about it and then get ready to go back again.
Well, the escape is really just the new opportunity for takedown. They're always looking to create new opportunities, and that's you think of escape as my opportunity for a takedown. That's a lot different than what you said so well, Doug, congratulating yourself for scoring. No, that's just a setup like popping the head, you know, anything else.
Well, there's a point that's going against McGru for backing away from Sherritt, and he's been warned already, I think.
No, actually, it was for
really?
Popping him around unnecessarily on the head. He was pushing him on the face, and you can't do that. He's pushing his palms right into the middle of his face, and so, you know, he gets frustrated. He's got to do something to try to turn the tide on these losses that he's having to Joel Sherritt. Boom! And frustration leads to just a lot more frustration sometimes.
Sherritt's building up his riding time again. Now he's back up to 45 seconds, but more than that, he has a 6-1 lead.
McGru, a nice little move here, started trying to make a Granby finish, but can't quite get it. Now, Sherritt trying to slip that leg out. If he can slip, there he does. He slips it out, comes out of trouble. Good presence of mat there. Good mat presence.
So he kept the position. The referee, experienced referee, Pat Fitzgerald, did not score anything there until he saw how it turned out. We're down close to the end of the second period. Sherritt, I think he's in this. Could be a number of things. He's beaten McGru a couple of times, and his team is leading very well. And this is a tournament, by the way, that Iowa has never won. We asked Dan Gable if that meant anything to him.
Part of our goals this year is to win everything we're in. So we're trying to win this one too. And I'm not going to just go in there and lay down for them. And so, and I'm sure they're not going to lay down for us because we're the favorite team. But right now we haven't had a lot of success here, and we want to end up winning the championship here.
Now that's something that's unusual, isn't it? A major event that Dan hasn't won. Of course, it's been 3 years here. This is the third year at Lincoln, the national duels. The first year,
we were upset by that Nebraska in the semifinals.
Yeah, that's right. In a thrilling meet, the home crowd helped to get them through on that one.
One of the best matches we've ever seen, isn't it? As far as excitement.
It was. Here's J.J. McGru, who came into this match against Joel Sherritt undefeated. He's now trailing 6-1 as we go into the third period, and Sherritt on top has a minute and a half of riding time. But a good first move by McGru makes it 6-2. 6-2. Take it back to the center.
No, he wasn't. Fred, second penalty. You agree? Straight to the face? Right to the face. You cannot go to the face.
Now they're going to penalize.
They're going to do it again. He can't go to the face. He's doing it again. Well, it can't get any more obvious than that, can you?
So that's the second penalty. It makes it 7-2. 7-2.
Now he's going to slip the leg. McGru making some nice shots in there. Sherritt defensing him just enough to keep him from executing them all the way through. If Sher can keep his hips down on the mat, that means if he can keep McGru's hips down on the mat, McGru won't be able to come through for that takedown. They'll call a stalemate here in about 3 seconds. McGru's able to improve a little bit right here. Now there comes Sherritt up, again getting his hips up. You want to keep your hips off the mat. There's the stalemate.
Stalemate with 1:05 to go. 7-2 lead for Sherritt over McGru. Oklahoma State's team has won one. There's Sherritt. Yeah, Sherritt makes the move this time, but he has to give it up. McGru counted him very well.
McGru just keeps coming back to the face.
Well, Sherritt is known as a tough guy out there who can just keep coming at you, control the head, pummel you around, and I'm sure certain wrestlers would figure, well, we'd like to intimidate him somehow, but it didn't work in today. It's just cost McGru 2 points. J.J. McGru of Oklahoma State. This is the only 190-pound match still going of those being wrestled here for first place, 3rd, 5th, and 7th in the team championships, the national duels at Lincoln, Nebraska. This is the first place meet, Iowa against Oklahoma State. The Hawkeyes lead 22-3. A good counter by Sherritt, and another counter back by McGru for the takedown. He makes it 7-4. It's the first takedown for JJ.
He got something in his eye right there. McGru, the only senior starting for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and he's All-American last year, as we said, and the only senior on the team. And so not only does he want it against Sherritt, he's coming up to his last chances to ever get a victory against Sherritt.
By the way, in the third place meet, Michigan State has just taken the lead over Nebraska, 18-15. with a win by Emilio Collins, the second-ranked 190-pounder who lost to Joel Sherritt in the semifinal round when Iowa beat Michigan State to get to this final day. So Nebraska will send its heavy